So right out of the gate today, I'm going to talk about the real estate stats for January of 18. They came out a little bit late, so we just want to talk about them just to keep you updated on what happened in the first month of the year, and compare it to years past, as well as kind of give some details about what that means for you. But in January of 18, there were 2,086 home sales in January. That was actually worse than last January, which is something we'll talk about in terms of the why. Last January we had 2,157 sales. However, the last 4 Januaries prior to that, the 2,086 number was a higher number than. The average sale price in the greater Tampa market was $256,583. Comparing that to December, there was 260. The average sale price in December was $266,000, so about a $10,000 drop in the average sale price month over month. But compared to last January and basically every other January prior to, last January was $237,000 as an average sale price. The January prior to that was $209,000. The January prior to that was $188,000. January is historically generally the worst real estate month of the year. So the fact that you see the price dip down and the number of home sales dip down isn't anything out of the norm. My team likes to joke that in January, stuff gets crazy around me.
I'm shooting you a good smile right
now. He's laughing because he's seen some of the emails when I freak out every January.
The emails,
like what in the world is going on in January? But January is, I think I was better this year.
You were. We talked about it for about 5 minutes, and then Angela said, "Okay, let's move on."
Yeah. So nonetheless, the numbers for January, in the market. Promising from a standpoint of still above a 2,000 sale number in January, but the biggest obstacle, 3.7 months of inventory, which is an increase in inventory because of fewer home sales. We had 2.5 months of inventory in December. That's like San Francisco-esque, in terms of the lack of inventory, and that continues to be the challenge of the market. If we had enough homes to sell, I would envision us seeing 4,000 and 5,000 sales a month. But we see homes that we list getting 50, 60 offers on them. That's, one person's going to get the house, 59 other aren't going to get it, and who knows how many of those 59 other end up finding homes or throwing into town, just renting or moving into an apartment or moving somewhere else. So you've just got a massive amount of home buyers missing out on inventory, and that's the biggest challenge of the market. A couple other stats just to kind of keep, compare them. 61 is the average days on market, 97% is the average list to sell price ratio, and those are the same numbers that we've seen for the past several months. But nonetheless, the inventory, the interesting thing about the inventory is the months of inventory of 3.7 is better than than December, but if you look at last January, we had 4.5 months of inventory. This January we had 3.7. The 7,624 current inventory of homes right now is the lowest figure that the Greater Tampa Board has seen in over a decade. Wow. So we have the fewest amount of homes for sale than we've seen in over 10 years. So, I went back in the stats. You can go online and go back a little bit further than like the 3 or 4 year history they give you, and there's nothing in the 7s. Everything's 8, 9. So 7,600 homes for sale is inventory. That's our biggest challenge. We don't have a problem getting homes sold once we put them on the market, and getting them sold in a lot of cases for above asking price, above market value, creating bidding wars. We've got gobs and gobs of seller success stories and reviews on our website if you're looking into that. But the reality is we need homes to sell, and that's that's just the need for the market right now.
Yeah, it creates a vicious cycle because we've taken listings where sellers they want to sell and then they want to buy something, and then they're calling us saying we're going to hold off because we can't find anything to buy. So then that creates, okay, well there's another listing, and how many times does that snowball in the market where there's just a lot of people out there that want to sell and there's just nothing great for them to buy, and the good good houses end up having prices that go up because there's so many people that want them. It's just supply and demand. So
one of the things that we do uniquely is obviously run some ads, to attempt to find the house for that person. If you list your house with us and you're buying afterwards, and you work with us, which I think you should always work with the same agency, but nonetheless, when you work with us, You know, we can do some creative things to tie those transactions together. We can give you an immediate cash offer that we let you close whenever you're ready to close, so that, you know, we've got several out there right now of homes that we've made cash offers on. And then that gives you, you know you've got the home sold, and then you've got time to look and buy. You know, I think that the creative things we can do to find inventory and then hope to find homes in our database for those customers that are looking to buy and sell. But the reality is that's the biggest fear people have. They're not going to be able to find something, you know, to buy when they sell. So the inventory continues to perpetuate. Builders can't keep up with the you know, the demand, so to speak. So they're not creating enough inventory. We just don't have enough homes to sell. You know, the one thing I will tell you, if you're a buyer of real estate, or if you're a real estate agent, you know, I had a meeting this week, you know, with a couple of people who are also real estate agents in other markets, and it was kind of, they were friends of friends that don't run a business like ours, so they're not going to do 1,000 home sales in a year. They're going to sell a home or two a month, and that's really their business. And they were frustrated over and over again, and they said, oh, you know, as a heavy listing agent, you probably love this. And the reality is we don't, you know, because what happens is when you get 59 offers on a house, you got 58 ticked off people, you know, that are mad at you. Even though we did everything right for our customer, you're not going to make all those people happy. So we certainly don't. We love getting results for our clients, but we don't love 58 people being unhappy and missing out.
You know, and it is a process where you still have to get the property to closing. You know, a lot of times if you get that many offers, you have to hope that the house appraises and then it goes through the inspection okay. And you know, sometimes it is a little challenging with sellers and explaining to them, and we do the best that we can in the appointment, saying, you know, this might go multiple offer, you know, you don't want them to feel like you underpriced their house. So there's just a lot of challenges when the market is so busy. There's also a lot of agents in the market that are new, and again, new agents are great. We'd love to have some new agents on our team. We love new agents, but it is harder to work with a new agent on getting through the process. You know, just there's a lot of obstacles when the market is so hot. There's a lot of inexperienced people in the market wanting to dip their foot in, and you know, it's a challenge when the market is so hot with low inventory.
Mike, how often are you running into it where buyers are giving up and throwing in the towel when they can't find something?
It happens a lot more than you would think, and it's more so a frustration thing, and also too, especially first time home buyers, for instance, that may be renting and they're up against a lease. They can't find a house, so
and they don't want to go homeless.
Right, don't want to go month to month, for instance, because it's more expensive typically that way. So a lot of times you're seeing them renew leases because they don't really have any other options.
Yeah, it's definitely an ongoing challenge with the market. You know, the lack of inventory is something, and it's not going to get solved anytime soon. You know, it's certainly you know, the market at the moment. We continue to have challenges, you know, finding good quality homes to sell so that buyers can buy, and then those buyers can then sell their homes, you know. And I think with the fact that we're increasing population, you know, we're getting more people moving into the area is another part of it too. Because now you're throwing on top of lack of inventory and all the current buyers here, we're saying, oh, by the way, we got a bunch of people that want to move here and our population's growing. Labor shortage is a big challenge too, because even the builders, even if you have somebody that says, you know what, I'll just build or I'll buy land, you know, builders, construction trades, all are having a hard time keeping up with demand. There's just a labor shortage for the amount of homes getting created by the builders, which still isn't enough homes, but they're certainly doing everything they can, and it's causing a labor shortage for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and the type of home that they're building is, you know, not a starter home typically, so unless you want to go pretty far out. So, I mean, everything would move a little bit more if we just got some good, you know, sub 300,000 homes in the market. I mean, when you really drill down into those numbers, I bet if you get into certain price ranges, the inventory is much less than 3.5, 3.7 months.
Oh yeah, so there's some markets, you know, and that's one thing we always like to talk about is when we talk about real estate stats or stats for the market, that doesn't mean that's what's going on in your neighborhood. Real estate is super, super, super local. So if you know, if you're not seeing this trend in the neighborhood, it doesn't mean the stats are wrong. It just means that's, you know, really a median or an average that they're, you know, factoring in all of the homes for sale across a pretty large radius. So, you know, there are areas in South Tampa and in Carrollwood where we're talking like a month and a half of inventory, where literally we, you know, and we have homes, like my wife and I are renovating a couple homes right now that we're putting on the market to resell, and the homes aren't even on the market, and we're getting people calling us about them. Like, hey, we looked this up, and we know you sell it. We know you own it, and you're a real estate broker. Are you selling it? We're interested. It's like, it's not even done. Like, I haven't even, it's not for sale right now. Like, leave us alone. No, in reality, we're okay with those phone calls. I mean, I joke, but we understand that that's the market. That's what's
I was
going
gonna
to
say, that just shows how low the inventory is now.
Yeah,
That
people are
taking
getting
the
super
time to
creative.
search for those
Yes,
opportunities.
people are getting super creative. We'll get a couple